Jim, do you have an idea of how much time you said you weren't getting enough sleep, but roughly how much time your support team was spending with IoT issues before you made a change in hardware, and how much time is it spending on those issues nowadays?
Yeah, I don't have any hard numbers, but I know that I personally, it was one of those things that you had to take the call regardless of the time of day if one of these issues came up. And then our team was definitely talking about this at every single meeting with these issues. So whether it's, oh, this vehicle is no longer online or this vehicle is stuck in a reservation, we were definitely spending way too much time on it. I mean, with these things, the expectation there is it should work and we should it's almost like your credit card processor where we don't talk about Visa or MasterCard and be like, oh, thank God, my Visa transaction went through this time. Um, these are some of the things with telematics where we don't want it should just be working in the background, and then we should be really focused on, what business initiatives are we going to implement next, or how do we make our customers experience better? So, one perfect example of what we had before in our previous telematics provider was that we had a customer that took our vehicle out to Yosemite for a vacation, and because of the poor network connection, that person ended up not being able to access their vehicle. And so what happened then is it became all of a sudden this all hands on deck event where okay, it was like a rescue mission where we had to get this customer back home. So we had to, we were talking to tow truck drivers, we were coordinating with other service providers to get them to the airport. We had to pay for their airport ticket to fly them back home. So it became this huge ordeal, even though it could have been just one out of 1,000 instances of the rental. But that one instance that where it happened, it really just it blew up everything for the day. And this is all we were focusing on. So these situations, too, it's a even though it's a big demand, it's a fast growing market. It's also a very tight knit community on people that use this types of keyless, contactless type of service. So then when these things do happen, it usually ends up with a bad review. You get blasted on Apple or Android, the app stores, and then 1 star says terrible service. You'll get stranded. Don't ever use. So these have repercussions down the road as well. So that leads to future rentals not happening, and then as a result, it compounds, and so and then your demand drops, and then all of a sudden your vehicles are sitting, and it leads to a bunch of other issues as well.
Yeah, so that's where my as a marketer, that's where my mind first went to. The bad reviews, the hit to the brand, right? The rental, the reservation that never happens because the customer reserved it, but then couldn't find the car in a city because maybe the GPS was accurate, or found the car but just couldn't get it to unlock. But there's also operational implications of that as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, in that perfect example where, if the GPS is off and now, we're telling the customer the vehicle is located here, the customer's like, I'm here, I don't see the vehicle. Then it becomes another one of those big operational fire drills where all of a sudden we're like, okay, it almost makes you look foolish because you're telling the customer, oh, the car's right there, our GPS is right there, our system is right there. And the customer's like,
Yeah.
I'm right here, I don't see it. But then not only that, but also now you're scrambling to find the customer another vehicle. And sometimes, it's not available, it's not next to it. And so now you have to help them, oh, do I call an Uber and send the customer to the next location? Do you provide them with a refund? The customer may have spent 30 minutes just getting there on their own dime, and now they're stranded. So it does create a huge operational issue as well.
It's one of those things, right? And you guys, most of you probably know this if you're running a similar business. It's the one thing that impacts the brand. It can impact the business. It can definitely impact your customer in a really, really negative way. So it was very, very high priority for us to make sure we got it right.